TinaGale here, and I am back with another portion of prepping for my December album. And I'm following along with the Simple Stories Merry and Bright collection that I got from the scrap room. And this was an entire kit where they gave you album instructions. So back up, if you haven't seen the other ones, I did an unboxing video so that you can see everything that was in it. And then I shared some of the things that I'm doing to prep. So this is part 2, and I'm going to show some of the special insert pages that they had in the directions to just make things a little bit interactive and just more fun. So the first one we're going to do is, this came from the 6x8 patterned paper sheet. So we're just going to make a little fold out. And so what we're going to do is we're going to put this up here, and it has you scoring at 4 inches, which does not make sense. Is that right? Well, this was just the beginning of inaccurate instructions and goof ups along the way, so I think I goofed up every single page after this. So I've decided to just voice over and cut out the commentary, because otherwise you guys would probably be just laughing your heads off as I struggle through this. So on this particular page, they said to score at 4 inches, which would leave it completely folded in half, which does not work because you need to punch your holes on this left-hand side. So you need to leave that room. I ended up scoring a little over 4, like 4 1/4 or whatever, thinking that was going to be enough. But in the end, it was not. So I ended up having to go back and score at 4 1/2. So I have a couple of lines in my page which could be a little bit irritating. And if you're a perfectionist, then don't go by the instructions if you're going to be doing this. It's not going to bother me too much because I'm going to put a photo mat on the back of this, or some type of card that will cover up that other crease line that was inaccurate. So I'm good with it. But you're going to go to 4 1/2, do your creasing of the edge, fold it over, and then take your border strip and you're just going to put it along that left-hand side of the top flap piece, and then trim it off and put the rest of it back on the sticker sheet, because we're going to use it on another one of the pages, and that one has inaccurate instructions as well. So you're going to see me frustrated with that one as well. But it's all good if you want to do these and you just want to follow along with me. I've made all the mistakes for you. But in the end, it all works out fine. So there's the page. You could also do this with any of the extra pattern papers that are in the album or in the paper pad that you would like to. I struggled with this one just a little bit because it did have the truck and you were folding that truck in half. But I decided just to kind of get over it. It was cute. It's gonna, when you open it up, you don't have to have photos in there. It's just another little embellishment. Now, if you're gonna have lots and lots of photos, then by all means choose a different piece of paper so that you can do photo mats and stuff on the inside of this, and you'll have even more room to put more documentations of your December. So the other thing that we are doing here is we're going to take a couple of the labels and we're just going to put them on the outside and then line it up and put one to the inside. And that's just going to create a cute little tab. And you can see here, it's, you know, it's just not going to work. It's going to go right over where you punch that hole. If you use one of the tabs that doesn't have a word on it or decoration or something, then I just picked up one of the other words and put on there. And now to punch the holes, I'm just using one of the page protectors and laying it over the top of it and using my crocodile to punch the holes. And you'll see here I struggle with it as well because the paper wants to get stuck inside the crocodile where you can't see through it. Well, then I can't see where the hole's at to punch the second one. So I have a little hissy fit here and banging around and trying to get rid of it, and I'm just like, oh, forget it. And so I just blind punch it. But that's how you're going to punch all of the holes in any of these little inserts, or if you take the 4x6 cards, any of those, and you add in, just use one of your page protectors and do it that way. So here you can see the final one where I did discover those holes were being covered up and creased it over a little bit more. So that's the final page of the first one. And now let's move on to the second page. The second page that we're going to work on is going to be a flip up page. So we have one of the 4x4 cards, this cute little deer that's going to be a decoration for the front. And then this paper here that has the snowman is going to be on the inside, and it's going to flap up or flip up. You can see here I went ahead and I've decorated when I was using all my stickles, and I just used the clear stickles over the snowflakes. And we're going to trim this paper down to 5 inches wide. Now I've already cut it down, and then this bottom here we're going to score at 1/2 inch. And so far this is correct. Now where the instructions change on this is how it's adhered on there. They have it where they're telling you to put the tape in the wrong spot, and so it's not going to work. So what I decided, and it's going by what the pictures look like and to me what really works, is we're going to put the adhesive on the back side, on the striped side of the paper, not the snowman side. If you'd put it on the snowman side, you would adhere it just the way it's laying on that paper and it would flip up. By doing it this way, and I'm using 2 strips of the tacky tape here so that it's right against the edges, because this is going to get a lot of wear and tear being opened back and forth, and so I want to make sure that it's adhered line to line. So just put that on there, and then what you're going to do is flip it over, and you're going to put that base onto the top of the paper. Now they had the adhesive on the snowman side, and you would lay it face down and adhere it in that spot. But by doing this, you have that clean edge at the top. It actually makes it a little bit shorter on the page, and they have it much shorter on the page, but they don't tell you anywhere to cut that paper off. So even if you had adhered it the way they did, it would have come straight to the bottom of the page. This little extra piece of the scallop border is going to go along the bottom. And so what I decided to do was just to place it wherever I wanted it. So I'm going to move it up just a little bit more. And then I'm going to hand fussy cut around that scallop. And it's going to look just like the instructions in the guide. Now they have no instructions whatsoever how to do any of that. So a major fail on the instruction guide. So I just went ahead and got my T-square ruler and made sure that it was completely straight, and I was off just a tiny bit. So I just fixed that, and then I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut it, and then I'm going to adhere the reindeer onto that front side of that paper there. Now that would have been completely fine to leave it just the way it is, but I wanted to go a little bit further. So I pulled out the sticker sheet and I found a little word sticker. This one says "'Tis the Season," and it's in that dark green, and I felt like I wanted just a little bit more green on this card, so I added it to the reindeer card. And then I found another one that was just a label sticker with that little red heart to pull up to the top, and that just kind of bounced all of my colors around. And then I loved that checked and that red stripe, but I wanted something to go between it. So I decided to pull out some of my washi that I had for my stash. And I debated back and forth between a few different ones, but in the end, I wanted the dark red. It was a good barrier that wasn't too busy, because both of those patterned papers are really busy pattern papers. So that dark red separated it, but it had a little white polka dot, so it was just enough to add another little design element into it. So we had stripes and plaids, and now we have polka dots, so I'm happy. And the last thing to do is to use my page protector, and we're going to go ahead and punch the holes for that page, and that finishes that one. Super adorable,
Super cute,
but again,
with just a few little
wow,
and
such bad instructions. I was really disappointed. So now let's move on to the third page. Now this one, I believe the instructions were correct, but for whatever reason, I guess it was just all of the trouble I've had up till now of where the instructions were wrong. This one, I decided to goof up all on my own. So to start this page, you're going to trim 1/2 inch from the left edge of that buffalo plaid, and you're going to score 1/2 inch from the right edge. And then for this green snowflake paper, you're going to cut 1.5 inches from the left edge, and you're going to score 1/2 inch on the right hand edge. Those are your main instructions that you need to be very careful of your cutting, and then where you place your adhesive. So where you scored on this buffalo check, you're going to put the adhesive on the back side, on the floral side, and then it's going to adhere to the polka dot. So you're making the right-hand side of the flap on this page. And then it just opens up. So you could create some additional pages just with 2 pieces of paper like this, and it'd be super cute. Now we're going to work with the green snowflake. So for this one, we scored on the right-hand side, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to put the adhesive on the back side of the snowflake paper. So on the large poinsettia side, that's where you want to put your adhesive, and then it's going to go on the small floral print. So that floral print in the middle is going to be your background piece, and your 2 flaps are going to adhere to the front of that one and then flip opened. So you can see here it all folds together. This is where I goofed. I punched on this side over here, and that's not correct. You need to punch on the opposite side. Now in the end, it doesn't matter one bit. It still works. It's just different from what they had. It should have been punched on the red polka dot to where you see that red polka dot on the front side of the page and your flap goes out. So when I flipped it over, this is when I look and go, something's not right. And I flip it over, and this is the way it should have been gone into the book. So the holes should have been on this left-hand side where the red polka dot paper is, and it fold open like that. So if you do it according to instructions, that's the way to work. If you goof up like me, it's going to go on the page like this and open to the left. Either way is fine. It's a fold out. Lots of room for more photos and embellishments. I'm going to let you look through all 3 of the little specialty pages that we made to go into your album so that you have even more room for photos and documenting your December. All 3 are quite simple to do and really add some fun interaction to your album. So I would definitely encourage you to give it a try. Now for the ending of this video, I thought I would go through and just show you how I decorated most of the cards going throughout. It's all pretty simple again, just using my stickles, my Wink of Stella, and my journaling pen. So for this one, I decided to use the silver stickles inside of the berries just for something different. To me, this one is a little bit more elegant with the silver instead of the clear stickles. But either one works. And then I also used the red for the red berries, and again the black for inside of the flower. For the lettering and then some of the leaves, the little leaves for the mistletoe, they kind of have a dark side and a light side. So I just choose one or the other and highlight them with the Wink of Stella. And then I decided to go over all of the red lettering with the Wink of Stella too. It's just a small, simple little touch that adds so much to this card. It just brings everything to another level. Of course, they're beautiful just the way they are, but just for some extra fun and a little bit of more oomph, I think it's definitely worth a few extra minutes to do this. The last thing I'm going to do to these cards is outline just a little bit. For the flowers, I'm just doing a rough outline so it's not completely solid. And then I will outline all the way around the card as well, just to kind of frame it. Here I'm going back and adding just a few little extra red dots around the flower embellishment there. So those are not on the card originally. I'm just adding, and I did that throughout the entire album. I would just choose a few little spots and add some extra berries. I also did it with the clear stickles as well, just to add a little bit more. And then this is my white journaling pen, and I'm just going in to add a few little spots. And if you have a white pen, you definitely need to pull it out for these cards and give it a try if you haven't ever done anything like this. Just add a few little spots of white or even little white dots, and it just makes such a difference. Here's a little close-up of the card that's going to dry, and that's it. So I will be back another time with another update of how I'm going with my December album. I would love to hear how you're prepping, so be sure to leave some comments down below and let me know what you're doing for your December album. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.